Every now and again, I throw on a film and I am reminded as to why I love cinema, why I grew up going back to films of the 60s and 70s and just thinking that they were absolutely fantastic, where the superstars were chameleonic in the roles that they would tackle and the stories, no matter how pedestrian they could seem, turned out to be something absolutely fantastic. I was over the moon to get All the President's Men on 4K. It was one that I loved years back, hadn't seen it in decades, and was really curious about delving back into it. It lived up to my memories. It was one that I absolutely adored revisiting, and I was so glad to go back to it to find this wonderfully engaging, thrilling movie.
You know, I'm glad you asked me that question. The reason I'm glad you asked me is because if you had asked Simons or Bradley, they would have said, you know, we're going to have to fire this schmuck at once because he's so dumb.
All the President's Men follows two reporters, Bob Woodward, played by Robert Redford, and Carl Bernstein, played by Dustin Hoffman, as they investigate what initially seems to be a minor break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters in the Watergate complex. What unfolds is a meticulously unravelling of corruption that reaches all the way to the White House and ultimately leads to the resignation of President Nixon. But it's not really a political thriller in an explosive sense. It's very much a procedural, which is what I like. It's about phone calls, it's about conversations, it's about source protection, dead ends, fluorescent lit newsrooms with the click-clacking of typewriters. The tension comes not from car chases, but from confirmation, from getting the facts, from getting a source to go on the record so that they can commit to this story. And it is riveting. It is edge of the seat stuff in all the ways that it shouldn't be. Like I said, it's not flashy. It's not fueled by typical scenes that are thrilling. It's about conversations. It's about getting the information. It's the excitement in relaying that to your partner. It's the crushing blows of realising that they don't have what they need to push the story forward. And my goodness, is it compelling.
This is a goddamn important story. Get some harder information next time.
Alan J. Pakula directs this thing with restraint and with the paranoia just simmering under the surface. It's equal parts investigative procedural, political drama, journalism, film, and a 1970s paranoid cinema. The camera lingers on our characters just thinking. It pulls back, dwarfing the reporters in these cavernous spaces where everybody is just bustling and moving along, and they seem to be almost standing still. There's no bombastic sequences, there's no swelling heroics or music. It's just slow, methodical grind of truth-seeking. And there is something just wonderful about that, as these people constantly face doors being slammed shut in their face, avenues of investigation suddenly become dead ends. There is a frustration in amongst these characters. They know there is something, but they're uncovering the story themselves as they pick at the loose thread that they can find.
$89,000 in Mexican checks? Why didn't we get this? I know. Who are their sources? And I even know somebody who works on the phone company here.
How democracy only works if someone is really watching. The journalistic integrity of our characters, verification matters. Two sources, careful wording, the editorial oversight of pulling them back, telling them they don't have enough. The process of them gathering the story is the drama that the film is built upon. These are just ordinary men doing extraordinary work. Woodward and Bernstein aren't superheroes. They're persistent, they're dogged, they're occasionally arrogant, they're sometimes wrong, but they're relentless. They just want the truth. They know there's something here, and they are going to continue until they get it. And you have this terrific performance of Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman. Redford plays Woodward as clean-cut. He has this kind of quiet ambition. Bernstein, on the other hand, is scrappier. He's more impulsive. And their friction together fuels the investigation. They work perfectly because they're opposites, and where one has a strength, the other maybe not be as good. They pick each other up and carry each other forward.
We go and see Sloan, and we tell him that we know that he named Haldeman to the grand jury.
And all we would need to do is have him confirm it.
Right.
It has many great sequences, but it's one of those movies that over 2 hours seems to just zip by. You know, you're in a great set of assured hands. You've got some fantastic leads. You've got this wonderful story that just unravels in front of you, and it's just terrific. For me, All the President's Men is one of the great American films of the 70s. It's precise, it's intelligent, it's deeply unsettling. It transforms investigative journalism into high-stakes drama without exaggerating or spectacle. The horror isn't fictional, it's systemic, which is amazing. I highly recommend this film. If you haven't seen it before, it's something that you need to watch. If you don't know much about politics or much about the actual Watergate scandal, you don't need to. The film will inform you in that. You're following these people just trying to do the right thing and get to the bottom of a story. And that is something that is highly compelling. 5 out of 5, terrific movie, well worth your time. I'd love to know your thoughts on All the President's Men. Let me know in the comment box below whether you love it, hate it, or fall somewhere in the middle. As always, there is more content up here. You can see more of my stuff. In the description box below are links to Patreon, membership program, manvfilm.com. Always in which you can support me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.